Hi there, welcome back. Little sneaky preview there on the left of a previous video. Check out the description box to see the link, or at the end and you'll see the link to it. We're going to use this beautiful mould, and it is much bigger than a coaster. It's more like something that's the size of, say, a dinner plate mat that you would put on your table to protect it before putting plates down and things. But we're going to use it, and we're going to use the very last bit of our Tea Expert resin. We're going to try out another brand, which we'll tell you about in future videos. But here we go. So we've divided up some resin in these lovely little silicone mixing jugs, and we're going to use acrylic paint by Art Studio. All the details of that will be in the description box, and like everything that we use, everything will be listed in the description box down below. So there we go, we're just having a few issues just trying to get that out of the bottle there. There we go, and that will rest on the top until you stir it in. So obviously you need to make sure that you do stir it thoroughly. Now at this point, because I'd used some of this before, I decided I was going to also add some Vista resin pigment, polar white colour. Again, this came out a bit quicker than I'd expected. I was a little bit heavy-handed with it. Whoops. There we go. So that one, now white resin pigment like this is heavier, so it will sink quicker than other resin pigments. So I've just taken that off camera. You can't see me doing, you can't see, I'm going to mix it up. Into this one. Now this has got some leftover resin in it that we used in the previous project that you can see on the left. Don't do what I just did and flick it everywhere, apart from in your mixing jug. It's made by Arteza. It's a beautiful cover. Oh, look at that. Sparkling away on the surface. Yeah, sorry, I was going to say it's beautiful colour. Obviously, you need to mix this thoroughly in. Make sure as well, like everything else, you're wearing the appropriate protective stuff whilst you're using resin and mica powders and so on. So off camera, I mixed these in. So you've got the darker pink, you've got a lighter colour pink, and you've also got the resin with a bit of glitter and the lovely Arteza one. So we're going for a bit of trying to get an ombre, dark to light, starting pouring off at the edge of this mould and doing a section and just hoping, keeping my fingers crossed at this point, that I had enough resin left over from the previous project that you can see twinkling away there on the left, to do this other rather lovely, let's call it a placemat. And there we are with the sort of medium colour. So I was going for a bit of an ombre effect, but also trying to show it in different ways. So one's glittery, one's opaque, one is a paler colour. You know, and with resin, when you do things like this with resin, you never know quite how it's going to react. How is it going to spread? As you can see, it's spreading across some of the mould there. Is it all going to mix together nicely? Is it not? You definitely know that however it looks on this side is not going to be how it looks on the other side. And because with a lot of moulds that you use, what you can see looking upwards at you is the underside of your finished project. The bit that you can't see underneath is supposed to be the right side. But what I found using these two particular moulds, the one you can see on the left and obviously the one I'm currently doing, is that you can use them either way round. Whatever you want to do, really. Whatever you want to do. So there we go. I had quite a bit of the dark glitter one left over, so I thought, you know what, rather than, I don't know, try desperately to find a mould to put it in, because there wasn't a lot left over, then I would just pour it in on the end there and see what happens. Normally, if you're going to do an ombre pour, you go light to dark or dark to light, not dark, light, dark again. But, you know, a bit of artistic license. It's up to you what you do, how you do it, how you mix it, whether you use all one colour, whether you just use glitter, or whether you do what I've done and have 3 shades of pinks. Quite the, the colour change from the different 3 shades of pinks. So just trying to use up everything here, just getting it all off of that wooden stir stick into the mould. There we go. There we are. And I am going to confess something now. I had quite a bit of overspill with this. So really, I'm just popping some bubbles I've noticed on the other project whilst we're there. You can, of course, put some spray mist of isopropyl alcohol over this, which will get rid of any little surface bubbles that come up to the surface or any that are already there. You can also use a long-necked lighter. Please don't use a torch. There we are. I'm about to use the spray misting with the alcohol. There we are. So it's 99.9% isopropyl alcohol there that we're using in just a atomizer bottle. There we go. So yeah, please don't ever use a torch, a flame torch, because you could burn the resin, you could have a fire, you could fuse the resin to your mould, and then you'll have to throw the resin away and your mould away as well, which is a real shame. But yeah, we're just, so we've sprayed it with the isopropyl alcohol, and we're just making sure at this point that we have got every last little bit of resin into the mould that we need to get into the mould. Now, at this point, I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't going over the edges, and then noticed that it was rather close to the project on the left. So in order to stop resin pouring from one mould into another, I put a stir stick. I just put a silicone or plastic stir stick in between them, as I thought if it wants to come right up to the edge and try and overflow, it will stick to that rather than to the project on the left. So you're getting a really long sneaky peek look at the project on the left hand side. Oh, you can see reflections of Wayne in there. Yeah, excuse the mess that you can see as well. I am working with very limited space at the moment in our craft area, which, like a lot of you, I'm sure, is an area of another room in your house which isn't meant for crafting, and mine is in the dining room part of our kitchen. Right, so here we go. Here's a close-up so you can just see how, and here we go again. Look at that. It's a close-up of really, you can see how it's reacting, how it's mixing. Oops, and here we go. This is the following day when it's cured. Now, you can probably see I've got quite a bit of overspill there to tidy up, but it's not an issue. It is still pliable at this point, and look how beautiful the resin has reacted. I mean, that is almost, actually I didn't realise, that is almost like a landscape. Wow. Goodness me. Well, it gives me reasons, it gives me an ideas for future projects, maybe for some resin pictures and paintings on canvas, which I do. It's not just functional resin pieces that we make. I do also do acrylic pour painting, and we're going to branch into some resin painting as well. So there we go. The mould came out quite easily, and I can see all the bits of overpour. Now, as this is still quite malleable, go careful, but you can go in and you can use a pair of scissors to snip away the overspill, the excess bit. Now, you don't have to use scissors. I have got this particular pair of scissors for doing this. Now, it will blunt the scissors, so do go careful. Don't use your best ever scissors, or if you do dressmaking, don't use your best dressmaking scissors either. Also, don't use those scissors then for use in relation to food either. You know, be sensible about this. Have one set for resin and craft work, and one set for use within the kitchen for food. Now, you could also use a deburring tool, which I showed you there briefly. Look at the way that's sparkling. I was just so... Yeah, sorry, there's rather a lot of footage of me looking at this point, because I was just thinking of all the things I could make, and oh my goodness me, look at that. You see how different it is from the other side. Now, we are actually going to keep this piece. We're going to use it in our home, in our house, as an interior decor piece, and we will use it this way, and we will use it the other way. I mean, you could put it in a frame, and you could have the other side as a framed picture on a bookcase, on a shelf, or you could use it as, you know, a mat, a protective mat to put plates on, coasters, cups, glasses, vases, anything you like. Once it's completely cured, it's rock hard. and it's good for all of those kinds of uses and so on. But I don't know if you can see that there as well. We've almost got like a marbling look where the paler pink has gone into the white, should we just call it white with a hint of pink, and where it's then gone into the edges there. Can you see where it's spread partially? I think it's stunning. I love the effect it's given. I love it. Of course, there's nothing stopping you from doing what we've done with the one that you could see as well in the previous clips, where we actually end up making it a bowl out of it. You could do that too. The deburring tool, I would wait and use till it's fully cured, I think, and then use it, because otherwise might distort this too much. I did make the decision to go back and completely remove all the overspill bits using my scissors again and the deburring tool. You can then, if you're still not happy, if the edges are still a little bit too sharp, go along the edges very carefully with an emery board or some very fine grit sandpaper. If you're going to do that again, make sure that you do wear your mask still, because you don't want to inhale any of the dust. So there we are. It's a lovely piece. I really love it, and I know I've said love rather a lot, and I know I've shown you lots of images of it close up and all the excess, and yet look, see, I'm impatient. I'm so impatient. I've got to get back in there and cut off some more of this overspill. I don't know. Yeah. So there I am. You can see it's really easy to do it with a pair of scissors, as long as it's still malleable, still, so in other words, still a bit bendy, not completely cured. If that's what you want to do. I mean, these scissors that I'm using were very cheap indeed. I think if you're in the US, you can probably go into Dollar Tree, and or somewhere else like Walmart or Kmart, or I'm trying to think of the arguments. Target's a good store as well. So I've been told, Target. That's if you're in the States. So why not go into those? Over here in the UK, I would say Pound Shop, B&M, One Below. Good Lord, how many others can I think of? Yeah, so I would say go in there and have a look, and see, just get a cheap pair of scissors to use to do something like this. Don't use your best scissors, So here's the final shots. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed making it. I really, really like this piece. I love the effects it gives. And the contrast, such a contrast, but also all linked in together as well. So thanks for watching. Don't forget, you can find us on Instagram, you can find us on Facebook, and guess what, people, when we're filming this, we're now currently on 992 subscribers. Help us promote our channel. We're really trying to get to 1,000. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.